Good morning. Welcome to the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City's morning AM docket. Today's Thursday, May 30th, 2019. This morning, the board will hear regular items, new transfer, expansion, hardship applications. When your case is called, please step forward to the microphone, state your name clearly into the microphone. If you're going to be giving testimony, please be prepared to be sworn in by the court reporter at the end of the dais. If you have an electronic device or cellular phone, I would ask that you silence it or put it on vibrate now. Mr. Chairman, may I call a preliminary matter?
Please.
Shekhar Karki, B.S.&R. LLC, trading as Waverly Tavern, 3801 Old York Road. This matter has been postponed and will be set in for a further date. Calling the next case, Justin Frank, Andrew K., and Tyler Frank, 5800 York Road, LLC, trading as Murphy's Neighborhood Bar and Grill, 5800 York Road. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, an application to transfer ownership.
Counsel.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the applicants. I just got a call from one of the proposed licensees, Mr. Justin Frank, who got delayed in Washington, D.C. He's on his way, but he's going to be somewhat delayed. But if you'll permit me to proceed, I have the manager operator, Mr. George Marsh, and
Okay, let's go forward.
Explain everything.
Do you want to?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Good morning, Your Honor. For the record, Frank Booz on behalf of Mr. George.
Okay. And, sir, would you raise your right hand, please?
I swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you. If I can proceed by way of a proffer, the existing license at 5800 York Road was in the name of Mr. Robert Weiner, who has since passed away. It was Murphy's Neighborhood Bar and Grill. If you remember, we had the substitute application and the hardship extension. Mr. Weiner had operated in that neighborhood for quite some time, had taken sick, and then there was a fire in the premises, and he was in the building at the time, and unfortunately passed away about 2 months later. There was extensive fire damage to this premises. However, Mr. Frank and company have purchased the building. That has been completed. They now partnered with Mr. George Marsh, who is here today. And if I can explain that, in addition to the purchase of the real estate, there's a $400,000 investment by the landlord building owner and another $300,000 investment by Mr. Marsh for a total of $700,000 into totally renovating this burned out building. Mr. Marsh intends to operate a smokehouse. He has extensive experience, which he can explain further. In the restaurant business, he's going to have smokers out back. He's met with Mr. Camp and the other members of the Govans Community Association. They are behind this project. He plans to employ about 20 people from the neighborhood. There's probably going to be a restaurant of about 60 seats. There will be about 10 customer parking spaces in addition to parking on York Road. Initially, he plans to operate just for dinners, hopes to expand that into lunches as soon as he possibly can. 7 days a week, and the kitchen will close at 10 a.m. Mr. Marsh, will you come explain your restaurant?
Can you come up to the microphone, please?
I can start walking through it, for Your Honor.
Can you move over to the mic?
Come to the mic.
And please, sir, give us your name, please.
George Marsh.
M-A-R-S-H.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Marsh, what's your restaurant experience?
I've been working in restaurants for over 20 years, but the last 10 years I spent 5 as the chef de cuisine, butcher, and eventually the executive chef at Woodbury Kitchen. And then we opened Parts and Labor, which was a whole animal butcher shop and restaurant in Remington. That closed in August, so we were there for 5 years. And since then, I've been planning to open my own spot based on my past experiences.
And obviously, you've never been the owner of those establishments, but you've been everything but the owner to all of those establishments. Is that correct?
Yeah, I ran Parts and Labor. You know, basically all the kitchen operations and everything. Business was pretty much.
Are you involved at all with the liquor sales?
At both of those places?
Yes.
He will be. I was going to get to that question, Your Honor.
Okay.
So again, I was just saying, you ran the operations at the other places, and you've read and understand and have spoken with me and actually been part of in your past 3 restaurant experiences the sale of liquor licenses. I'm sorry, alcoholic beverages in Baltimore City. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me or the board regarding that sale?
No.
Okay. And the board's reference and kind of going off what Mr. Priebus was saying, this will have a bar component to it, but your main focus is going to be a restaurant, business, and smokehouse using your prior restaurant's experience. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you're not going to have packaged goods in the premises. People will be able to buy packaged goods from the bar with their food. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And your hours of operation, what will they be?
We're probably going to be open from 5 to 10, 10 for kitchen and then midnight for the bar.
10 p.m., not 10 a.m.
That's
Yes.
correct.
And who's going to be alcohol certified?
Mr. Marsh will be.
Okay.
And I assume that in the first 6 months to a year, he will be there at every moment that it's open. Hopefully it goes well. He'll bring on someone else, but that's the nature of the beast, so to say. He had a chance to meet with the Governance Community Association again on Saturday, formally the second time they had met. And Mr. Marsh actually lives north of Northern Parkway to the east. I don't live far from there at all, and I know the property very well. Everyone is very excited to have this level of restaurant there, especially with the closing of Ryan's daughter. Who knows what's going to happen to the
Is that the
rest of
facility?
Square.
The Ryan's daughter facility? Is that the one we're talking about?
No. Ryan's daughter was.
That was on
east of
Belvedere, yeah.
Correct. This is just south of there on York Road.
And how many employees will be there?
20, as Mr. Cruz
20.
said.
All right.
As I said, Your Honor, it's going to be exciting for a person like him opening a restaurant in our community. Everyone else is very, very excited about it. I anticipate it will go quite well.
And of those 20, how many will be certified? Alcohol certified?
Everybody handling alcohol, Mr. Marsh?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just so I could explain for the record the procedural, so there's no even appearance that we are trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. The entity that was created to be the transferee of this license is 5800 York RD, LLC, and that is currently owned by Justin Frank and Tyler.
Frank.
Yeah, well, he's the city licensee, and what's the other guy's name?
Says
Andrew
Andrew Kay. on
Andrew
there.
Kay. Mr. Marsh is being brought on board and is going to be making a substantial investment. He will be back here either as a transferee of the ownership interest of this entity or as the owner of another entity. We haven't ironed that part out yet, but he will be the initial operator, and for the purposes of continuity of transferring this license, the licensee will remain 5800 York Road LLC for the time being.
Okay, and, what was I going to ask you? Never mind, I forgot.
So Mr. Frank, I guess Justin Frank, who's coming up here, he's not going to have any oversight of the management of the operation of the establishment?
The day-to-day operations at this point will be by Mr.
Okay.
Marsh is what the plan is. But he is extremely actively involved in the construction and the build-out, and they have been working hand in hand for the last 6 months to get this project going.
And when will it open, do you think?
Mr. Marsh, are you best to answer that question at this point?
Hopefully September, October.
Okay.
Is there live entertainment associated with this? No, okay, because I saw a note, the inspector did obviously an inspection. An inspector's report is what we actually call it. And it said that existing license with live entertainment, but that is not currently with the license.
That is correct, and as Mr. Reeves alluded to, the building was basically all but burned to the ground and will be completely rebuilt. So that component of it really, as a logistical matter, will no longer be available.
Thank you.
Okay, commissioners have other questions?
No further questions?
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Then on the basis of the materials contained in the application, the proffers from council, the testimony received, I would vote to approve the transfer.
I agree on the same bases and vote to approve the transfer.
I vote to approve the transfer.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, Brian Palombo, Alewife LLC, trading as Alewife, 21 North Utah Street. It's a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. A request for hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverage Article 12-2202.
Doesn't seem that there's anyone present, so let's move to the next one.
Was there service?
Pardon me.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I believe Steve Fogelman represents.
Yeah, thank you. Hold on a second. I
Mm-hmm.
clicked off the record to make sure I get everything. Can you say that again, Tom?
I believe Mr. Fogelman represents the secured party in this matter.
Yes, thank you. Stephen W. Fogelman. I have made contact with Mr. Carr, who is the building owner, and he is a resident of Rhode Island. I'm not aware who filed this.
Brian Palumbo.
It was Mr. Palumbo. Yeah, I am aware of the situation, and I understand that the secured party intends to file a liquor license transfer application within the next 30 days. So I would ask that you consider granting that hardship request, and so that there will be an opportunity to get that document or get the application in.
Is that the reason for the request? Because they need time to get the transfer application filed?
I'm not aware of the reasons
He just
requested in
says in
Mr.
the letter that he's
Palumbo's
unable to raise the funds to continue, and he closed in June.
Right. And so he's apparently going to be cooperating with the secured
Wants to
party.
transfer the license. Okay.
It's my understanding he's cooperating with the secured party
And this
to
is
turn
what,
the
a
license.
90-day request?
This would be a 180-day request.
Oh, okay. All right, commissioners?
No questions.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
On the basis then of the proffer from Mr. Fogelman, as well as the letter we received, I would grant the 180-day hardship extension.
I agree and grant the 180-day hardship extension request.
I concur and grant the 180-day hardship extension.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Calling the next case, R. Scott Rosenberger, secured creditor. No trade name, 3500 Boston Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. Request for a hardship extension under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 122202.
Counsel?
Good morning, Justin Williams from the law firm Roseberry Martin Greenberg. On behalf of the applicant, I'm joined by Margie Gessinger, the manager of Harbor Enterprise Center LLC.
Good morning. Would you raise your right hand, ma'am, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
So, Mr. Williams, you wrote us and said that the secured creditor has a substitute application, is that right?
Yes, so we represent the landlord of the premises that owned the bond, where Bonchon was located. Bonchon had the liquor license and closed in November 26, 2018. So as a resident of Canton, it was good for my waistline, but bad for the landlord because they needed to find a new tenant, and that's been their hardship. It's hard they're trying to find a national tenant because they've been burned twice by more locally owned establishments, so they've been trying to find a more prominent or more stable operator for the premises, and they hope to have an LOI out soon. But
They're asking for a 180-day extension?
that's right.
Okay. Commissioners?
No questions.
Questions?
All right, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained here, including your letter of May 6th and the proffer that we received this morning, I would grant the 180-day extension.
I agree and grant the 180-day extension.
I agree and grant the 180-day hardship extension.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
No exhibits.
Calling the next case, Stephen Safram, S&M Tavern LLC, trading as Skeeters, 2506 Washington Boulevard. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. A request to reopen under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 122203, when a licensed premise has been closed for at least 3 consecutive months.
Stephen Saffron.
Mr. Saffron, would you raise your right hand, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
So you wrote to the board in April and said that you need an additional 90 days to reopen, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And will it open then?
Yes.
Okay.
How's the work coming?
Good. It's an older building, so every time something happened, something else popped up. So started with the busted pipes, then putting new walls in, flooring. Then we had a roof problem, so now we're working on the roof.
And you got your inspections taken care of?
Yes.
Great, okay.
Anything?
Nothing for me.
All right, thank you, sir. On the basis then of your letter of April 15th, the other materials that we have here, and your testimony this morning, I would grant your request to reopen. We'll give you an additional 90 days.
Thank you.
I concur and grant your request to reopen, and we'll give you an additional 90 days.
I too concur and grant the request to reopen and give you an additional 90 days. I would note, probably your personal property taxes, but your business currently isn't in good standing through SDAT. So you may
Yes.
want to check into that.
Okay, yes, sir.
Good luck, sir.
All right, thank you.
Good luck.
No exhibits.
Okay. Linton Pumphrey, David Chapman, and Joshua Cohen, 2DJ LLC, trading as trade name pending 3432 through 34 South Hanover Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. A request for a transfer hardship extension under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705.
Counsel?
Thank you. Good morning, Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicants.
Sir, would you raise your right hand, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your name, sir?
David Chapman.
Okay.
Applicant Chapman is here. He owns a food truck called the Green Bowl Food Truck, and the other two applicants own the Smoking Swine Food Truck and Dizzy Cow Pizza Food Truck. So when this project does open, it's pretty exciting for me. It's going to be good food, good beer in South Baltimore, right at the Harbor Tunnel. They have completed, to the best of my knowledge, fire inspections, electrical inspections, mechanical inspections. They believe they've passed the plumbing inspection, but because of the city systems being down, there's some confusion about that. They also have passed health, and they just need to schedule a building inspection in order to get their use and occupancy certificate. So they're about 99% done, but I filed this out of abundance of caution because the license would have run very soon if we had not.
They're requesting 90 days.
90 days under the law, under 12-1705B.
Okay, Commissioners?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of the materials that we have in our file, including your May 6th letter, Mr. Fogelman, your proffer, and any testimony, I grant the 90-day extension.
I concur and grant the 90-day extension.
Thank you.
The 90-day extension.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Good luck.
No exhibits.
Is that our morning docket, Mr. Akras?
Mr. Chair, that concludes our morning docket.
So we resume at 1 o'clock?
Yep. Board will be in recess until 1 p.m.
Thank you.
On the record.
Okay. Calling Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City's afternoon docket into session. Today is Thursday, May 30th, 2019. This afternoon, the board will hear violation cases. When your case is called, please step forward to the microphone and state your name clearly into the microphone. If you're going to be providing testimony, you'll be asked to be sworn in by the court reporter at the end of the dais. If you have a cellular phone or other electronic device, I would ask that you please silence it or put it on vibrate now. Calling the first case, Angela Thrasher and Charles Thrasher Jr., Haven Place Incorporated, trading as Haven Place, 400 to 402 South Haven. There's a Class BD7 beer, wine, liquor license and a Class AE adult entertainment license. Violation of Alcoholic Beverage Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on April 10th, 2019, and a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05A, incorporation of liquor license rules, regulations to applicable licensees, April 10th, 2019.
Good afternoon. Would all those who are going to testify in this matter, please raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Your name, sir, please.
Charles Thrasher.
Mr. Thrasher, you're charged with 2 violations on April the 10th, 2019. Do you wish to admit or deny the violations?
Oh, well, I would admit it, but I think there's some circumstantial that I'd like to
Be happy to hear from you. I just wanted to make sure. Before we put on all the evidence to prove it, if you're admitting it, we don't need to do that. Okay. Let us hear from you.
Okay, well, first of all, I've been there since 1974. I probably have called the police at my business maybe a half a dozen times in 40 years. I'm almost there every night throughout my entire life. I started as a young man there, and I remember liquor board people that you probably don't even know, right? I mean, Douglas Page was growing up when I was growing up. I have a sign in front that says no one under 21 can enter. And
I don't know why they keep doing this, but they feel the need to come in and try to get, and dupe my bartender. And I asked her what happened, and she said honestly, she thought she knew the guys. That's the truth. So I mean, I own the whole block. I've been a taxpayer, a good citizen. I don't know why they keep messing with me. You can call Southeast right now and ask them how many people have ever, have there ever had any violations against my business at all, from Southeast Police? Nobody ever go there. I don't know why they keep coming in there, but
I think they test everybody.
I'm sorry?
I think they test everyone. It's
They
not
what?
just, I think they test everyone. It's not just you, sir.
Okay, well, I understand the approach, and
I suspect they
she did the wrong thing.
And I suspect they test more often, perhaps when you've had infractions in the past, which you've had.
Yeah, maybe one or two, not many. I've been through so much there with, the biker clubs and the diversity, and now it's the Spanish. I mean, after 40 years, come on, I'm there every night. It's incredible the things that I see and have to do. But I never call the police. I never call them. I handle everything myself,
So, go ahead.
This is the third sales to minors within the last year,
It is?
Second, I think.
No, it's not what I
or
have.
a year and a half. But
11 years.
Second.
the second sale to minor, excuse me.
Now they do it
Third
twice.
one.
Years ago, I had it happen to me
Yeah.
one time, and it was against your liquor license. Now they want to double it up, so they violate your adult entertainment license also. So, I mean, I'll try to do better. That's all I can say. I mean, but I'm in the twilight of my career there. So do what you think.
You're not giving me much to go with here in terms of
I agree.
mitigation. If we're going to be honest, I don't know that, sir, you're taking this very seriously.
Seriously, no, I'm here testifying because of my reputation. I've been there 44 years.
I'm not sure you're here because of your reputation. I think you're here because of an infraction. And so, this is the second.
I'm a
Let me
good
just finish.
bar owner.
This is the second in less than a year in
Yes.
sales to minor,
Yes.
which I think this board takes pretty seriously. I'd like to know specifically, other than putting up signs, what are you doing to prevent this from happening again?
I'm just going to have somebody at each door from now on. That's all I can do. In all the years I've been there, I've never had a bouncer. I've always handled everything myself. I'm a no-nonsense business. If you cause a problem, don't come back. That's just the way I've handled my business. Many people have been to my bar, and they love it. But I mean, you keep sending people in to trick or dupe the bartender. I guess you will get caught occasionally.
Well, is your bartender certified, alcohol awareness certified?
No, but I am.
Well, it sounds like your bartender should be certified,
Okay.
or anyone serving alcohol should be certified.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'll agree with that.
Detective, were you there?
Yes.
And was he cooperative with you?
The manager on duty was cooperative. I don't-
That was me.
I don't
That's
remember
me.
seeing- I don't
I'm-
remember seeing you.
Yeah, I see you all the time.
Of course you see me all the time. I do checks all the time.
Right.
I'm not doing underage.
Okay. Anything further?
Nothing further.
Nothing further.
Okay. So on the basis of the evidence contained in the charging documents and the testimony received and the admission by Mr. Thrasher, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on April 10, 2019, and also a violation of Rule 3.05 small a on April 10, 2019. As Commissioner Greenfield said, it's the second offense in the last year. So as to each, I would impose a $750 fine for a total of, what is that, $1,300?
1,500.
1,500.
$1,500. My math is good. And I'd give you 30 days to pay it.
Okay, I'd like to draw something to your attention.
Well, I'm not
Excuse us.
finished
Yes. I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on April 10, 2019, and I concur with the $750 fine. And I find a violation of Rule 3.05A, violation of adult entertainment Rule 3.05A, and I concur with the $750 fine. Given that this is your second violation within the last year of a sales to minor.
I find a violation of the Alcoholic Beverage Rule 4.01A and would concur with the imposition of a $750 fine. I also concur with the violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05A and would also concur with the imposition of a $750 fine.
Yes, sir. You want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say that everybody makes a mistake, and on this paper, they have my address as South Haven Street, the establishment. That license has been there 51 years, and it's always been North Haven Street. So, just to let you guys know, you can check it out.
We see it.
I'm serious,
No, I agree with that.
We,
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Like all exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report.
Mr.
Detective
Thrasher.
Greenhill.
Mr. Thrasher. Calling the next case, William Crawford and Yoshi Shinomoto Gallery Incorporated, trading as Gallery, 1733 through 35 Maryland Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, violation of alcoholic beverage rule 4.01A, sales to minors on April 24th, 2019.
Are you representing them, sir?
I'm William Crawford, and this is the bartender.
Okay, well,
that-
let's everybody raise your right hands, please.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
You swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Crawford, I wasn't sure. I thought you might be his lawyer. So you are on the license. There's a
Mr.
charge for a violation of a sale to minor on April 24, 2019. Will this be an admission or a denial?
Admission.
Okay. You want to tell us what happened on that date?
sir, what's your name?
Yes.
My name is Nathaniel Holland.
And come to the mic.
H-O-L-L-A-N-D.
Nathaniel Holland, and bartender, and
Is it
at the
spelled
gallery for 15 years.
H-O-L-L-A-N?
H-O-L-L-A-N-D.
Thank you.
Just make sure that you let the commissioner speak before you speak.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Holland, what happened?
Nothing, I just served them mine evidently. I had another customer come in, or two customers come in, and I waited on him, as well as the two customers that I know from a while back, and just made a mistake.
Are you certified, sir?
Yes,
Alcohol certified?
alcohol waiting certified,
And how long have you worked there?
15 years.
Okay. I see that they've had the license since '74, and this is the first violation.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Cooperative? Any questions?
No questions.
Anything further?
Well, all my people, since this happened, of course, Mr. Murray, John Murray, gives the alcohol awareness, which I have every time when he comes up when it's due. But he had a letter in the thing, and I had all my people review the letter and everything that explains, and all signed that they have, if you want this.
You may pass it on.
Okay, that they all, they all, we went over the rules again and everything and stuff. And this is the first time that this has happened. And like he said, he's been with me 15 years as a bartender, and I made him assistant manager. And we really try so hard, and we're sorry.
Well,
We're sorry, and we're doing as much as we can. We try to check this and everything.
We appreciate, actually, you have an excellent record, so we understand mistakes happen. So, but, of course, it is a violation. So on the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony in your admission, Mr. Crawford, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on April 24, 2019. And because it is the first offense, I would impose a $350 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01, small a, sales to minors on April 24, 2019. I concur with the $350 fine, 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of alcoholic beverage rule 4.01A on April 24, 2019. Would concur with the imposition of $350 fine, but again, you've had a stellar record for 45 years, so.
25.
Well, 70.
Oh,
74.
Okay, right.
My math might be a
Give
little.
you more credit.
Sorry.
That's all right.
No, but thank you both for coming in and acknowledging and working to address it. Thank you.
Appreciate your honesty.
Thank you. Very quickly, it looks like these are the originals. Do you
No,
want
they're
these back?
copies.
Okay.
They're copies that
They're
have
copies,
everybody-
okay, all right.
everybody to-
Thank you.
to Update them so they were sure. Where do we pay this?
Like all exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1,
Can you pay it now? and where
Baltimore
do
City
you
Police
pay it?
Department report, Detective LeBron, Licensee Exhibit 1, alcohol awareness certification, and alcohol service policy for employees.
Calling the next case, Ronald Singer and Kim Thompson, ERS Incorporated, trading as Steampunk Alley, AKA Leon's Back Room, 870 Park Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, violation of Alcoholic Beverage Rule 4.01A, sales to minor, on April 23rd, 2019.
Counsel.
Thank you, Stephen W. Fogelman. This is an admission.
Okay, would everyone raise their right hands, please?
You swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Mr. Fogelman, who's with you this
Yes, thank you. Ronald Singer, the licensee, is here.
Ronald Singer, yep.
All right. And this is Jason Kuberth, Kueberth, bartender.
Okay, and what happened on April 23?
All right, like I said, it's an admission. Tuesday night is Show Tunes night at the bar, and it's extremely crowded and very popular night. So Cadet Blackwell must have known that was the night to go. Mr. Kuberth had his hands full, Tom Cruise style cocktail, slinging drinks, and Cadet Blackwell, I believe, according to the bartender, at one point he said, "Can I get you something?" And he said, "Well, I'm good," or something. And then a minute later he came back and said, "Hey, are you sure?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll take a beer," which to me is a great way to do it. If somebody says, "No, I'm good right now," then they're obviously not underage, because all underage drinkers would never pass up such an opportunity. That having been said, Mr. Singer was really disappointed because Mr. Kuberth is the second most experienced bartender at the bar. He, in addition to working for Steampunk at Leon's, he has spent 15 years at the Hippo. He spent some time at another licensed establishment. So he's got about 20 years under his belt in this industry. And the fact is that the clientele of the bar is aging. It's 45 to 55, the average age. So he knew it. As soon as it happened, he realized that he should have gotten ID. And he's learned the greatest lesson of all. And certainly he's not going to be fired for this, because he now he owns it, and he will never make this mistake again. So I thank you. I do want to point out that the last violation from 2017 was the simple not having a trader's license. I see illegal conduct, and that could be a million things. In this case, it was just an expired trader's license. So he's never had any kind of misconduct in that bar, any kind of violations regarding underage sales, rowdy patrons, loud music, anything like that. So I would ask that you consider those circumstances. I thank you.
Are they cooperative?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffers from counsel, the admission of the violation, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on April 23, 2019. They've had the license since 2011, is that correct?
Yeah, there's a dispute as to that, because he bought the bar and I believe was still operating under a different
He's been
LLC.
there for 10 years.
Exactly.
Okay. I agree that the trader's license issue is not as significant as one of these. I would impose a $400 fine and give him 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on April 23rd, 2019, and I concur with the imposition of $400 fine.
I find a violation of Alcoholic Beverage Rule 4.01A on April 23rd, 2019, and would concur with the imposition of a $400 fine.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you.
I'd like to call the exhibits for the record. Exhibit number 1, police report written by Detective L.C. Greenhill. Calling the next case, Domingo Kim Enterprises Incorporated, trading as Stadium Lounge, 3351 through 53 Greenmount Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, violation of Alcoholic Beverage Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on April 23rd, 2019.
Counsel.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of Mr. Domingo Kim, who is to my right. This will be an admission.
Okay, everyone please raise your right hands.
You swear or affirm the testimony that you're
That's
about
your
to
left
give.
hand, sir.
You swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, well, let's begin with the explanation as to what happened on April 23.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The person that was behind the bar at that time, Miss Alicia Brown, was admonished by Mr. Kim right before he went out to get something to eat, and he told her, make sure that you card people. And he went out to get something to eat, and less than 2 hours later was advised that Ms. Brown had, in fact, furnished an alcoholic beverage to the cadet. She has since been terminated. He has made sure that all of his other employees are alcohol awareness certified. He does not in any way condone that the sale of alcohol to minors. He knows that this is not appropriate. He's been here before. He does not want this happening at his premises anymore. And all we can say is that this lady would not listen, having been just admonished to make sure that she carded everyone.
And was it you, detective, who was there? Yes. And was the bartender or anyone you spoke with cooperative with you?
Yes, cooperative.
I recognize you folks. Chief Inspector Foster, did you have something to add to this?
I might be able to add some additional things.
Okay. Sir, could you step and state your name, please?
I'm Mr. Kunsan Swiley, co-president of the Waverly Improvement Association.
Good afternoon.
Maybe 6 inches from the microphone, just kind of.
Okay.
And your last name is spelled S-W-E-E-L-E-Y, is that correct?
Correct.
And you've given us a letter, is that correct?
Correct.
Make it part of the record.
First name is K-U-N space S-U-N?
Correct.
Yes, sir. What did you want to add?
Yes. The Waverly Improvement Association would like to request an imposition of a fine and a license suspension, since this is not just a violation of the law, but also a violation of the license attached MOU. And this has been multiple violations of this same violation ever since this MOU has been put into place. However, we have been in constant discussions with Mr. Kim, and we will continue our discussions with Mr. Kim with the hopes that we can prevent him from coming back to the liquor board for any sort of violations. And that was the main purpose of having this license attached MOU, to try to prevent him from coming back to the liquor board for violations.
So if I'm correct, based on your letter, the MOU was executed in November of 2016. Is that
Correct.
So this will be the third sale to minor since then.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Did someone else want to testify?
Barbara Valeri, V-A-L-E-R-I. I'm a resident of Baltimore City and a member of the Baltimore Good Neighbors Coalition, and in support of the Waverly Improvement Association. If you recall, in February, Mr. Kim was before you for a sales to minors violation that occurred in November of 2018. At that time, his attorney, not Mr. Previs, stated that all of Mr. Kim's employees were certified, and that they were purchasing a $900 scanner to ensure that all IDs were checked before the sales of liquor. This was to preclude exactly what we're seeing here today, the return on another sales to minor violation. We've been working with the Waverly Improvement Association and Mr. Kim to see if we can't bring his operations and as well as his establishment into compliance with law and the MOU, as well as the conditions of the BD7 license. And we hope to continue working with him and with the Waverly Improvement Association. But I think he needs to take his commitment to the board and to the community very seriously, perhaps more seriously than he has shown in the past several months.
Let me ask you a question. So I don't have the MOU in front of me, but I assume it addresses more than just sales to minors.
It does. It does.
How is he doing in the other respects?
In some areas, well, I don't know if Miss Alicia Brown was certified, but he has to have a certified person on the premises when alcohol is being sold. So if she was not a certified individual, then he was in violation of that element of the MOU as well.
But there are areas where he's improved?
I think in terms of the cleanliness, and Kunsong can attest to this, the area around the store has improved. Has made changes to the facade, not all of the changes that are needed, and that's the kind of discussions we're going to be having with him about what can be done to the exterior and the interior to make it what is called an attractive place within the neighborhood.
I was just handed a copy of it. Okay. Do the commissioners have questions?
Yes, has a scanner been bought?
It has.
Is it in place now?
The
The
scanner
scanner.
is in place.
Yeah, right now
He had
it
some,
had a little problem, so I had to send it back to the manufacturer to get it fixed.
When did you buy it?
It was like about 6 months ago.
but Ms. Brown just totally just ignored anything that she was
I'm sorry it
supposed to
happened,
do.
but I told her about 2.5 hours prior to the incident, I told her to check the IDs. And then when I went out to pick up the lunch, it happened.
Was she certified?
We have a 4 certified people, but she was not.
She was not certified?
But there was someone on site that was certified at the time.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
Just unknown ones.
Do you have a question? Okay, anything further from anyone?
If I just say this one other thing, in addition to really reaching out and trying to be a good neighbor with the Waverly Improvement Association, Mr. Kim is a good neighbor citywide. As the liquor board's aware, there are certain zoning laws that are going into effect that are going to affect numerous businesses, and Mr. Kim has been very active in advising people of their rights and obligations, and has gone out of his way of certain things that don't necessarily affect his business, but has been a very caring person in regard to trying to help others, and I just wanted to make the board aware of that. Respectfully request that the board consider a fine.
Were they cooperative? Yes. Okay. Thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the testimony received the admission that there was a violation. I would find a violation of Alcoholic Beverage Rule 4.01 small a on April 23, 2019. In light of the record, which would make this the third violation since 2018, and the violations, the MOU, and the testimony received about that. I think you do need to take this very seriously, sir, and it is too many. I'll resist Mr. Sweely's request to shut you down, but I'm going to impose a $3,000 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors. I concur with the imposition of a $3,000 fine. However, I am inclined to suspend the license for a period of 2 days.
I find a violation of Alcoholic Beverage Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on April 23rd, 2019. I'm going to concur with both of my colleagues, and with the imposition of a $3,000 fine and the suspension for 2 days. I do think violation of the MOU and the multiple violations are troubling, and something internally needs to come together.
So when will the suspension?
Today, immediately.
All right, thank you.
Is that okay with you?
Fine.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I close this for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report. Detective Greenhill, Community Exhibit 1, letter from Waverly Preview Association dated May 28, 2019.
Ms. Brown. Calling next case, Jae-Rong Chong and Sue Kim, JC Star LLC, trading as Red Fox Liquors, 2733 through 35 Pennsylvania Avenue. Is a Class BD7 beer wine liquor license, violation of Alcoholic Beverage Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Counsel?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Gary Maslin on behalf of the licensee.
Would those involved please raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Is admission or denial, sir?
It is an admission with substantial mitigation.
Okay. We will hear from you.
If I could, my client is absolutely devastated by this incident. She had retained the services or was being helped out by her husband's brother. Her husband's brother was TAM certified, had an alcohol awareness certificate. He was admonished, make sure you check IDs, make sure you ask for age. He was a Korean gentleman. He was an older gentleman, but he spoke English. He understood his obligations. What occurred here was when the cadet came in, he asked the cadet, "How old are you?" The cadet didn't have an ID. Cadet's this lovely young lady standing at the end of the bar, and she indicated to him that she was 23 years of age. He believed her. He said, "Yes, okay," and he served her. He regretted that. She was just beyond upset with her brother-in-law. He no longer works there. I confirmed with her, Cadet, is that correct? He asked you how old you're 23, and you said you were 23. It wasn't that the licensee's employee failed to do anything and was grossly negligent. It was a gross error on his part and negligent in going ahead after trying to do the best he could do under the circumstances and ask her, and he looked at her, and he believed that yes, she was 23. Now, since that incident, what my client has done is that it's her brother-in-law, created a little bit of rift in the family, but he's no longer there. He's no longer allowed to work there. It's her husband, who's seated in the third row, who is going to work there and run the business. Now, the husband is TAM certified. Here's a certification.
Can you tell us their names, please?
Chong, come on up here, Mr. Kim.
He hasn't been
He has not
sworn
been
in.
Oh, yeah. Raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
So who's your client? What's her name?
Her name is Charon Chong.
And Ms. Chong. And you're Mr. Kim?
No, my name is Shik Chong.
Chong.
So I'm a husband owner.
How do you spell your first name?
S-H-I-K.
Now, in addition to that, these folks, at my suggestion, went out and purchased a card reader. This is what they look like. I'd never really had one before. Judge, if you'd like me to check your ID, I'll be glad to demonstrate for you. But
I think it will go off. I'm not 21.
Well, neither am I. But approaching 70, but that out too much. But it does work. I checked it out, and the thing does work. You push a button, you scan it. It's like it's a barcode, and voila, technology. So these are folks that take their obligations very seriously. These are folks that demonstrate they went out, they got the scanner. People say, yeah, I'm going to get a scanner. I'm going to get a scanner. Have you got it? No. But these folks do. And I think there are really mitigating factors here. When you have a licensee's employee that asks, how old are you? And I just don't think it's really fair for police officers or law enforcement people to misrepresent their age. I think
Well,
that
if you want to test to find out if somebody's going to card you, it's one way to do it.
yeah, well, I know, but it's just a little bit unfair. Not to say it's illegal and permissible, but I'd suggest that the licensees, this licensee, did the very best they could do. And I'd ask you to take that in consideration and please temper any fine imposed, given the fact they have spent the exorbitant cost of one of these scanners and have done whatever they can. And I would add also that they were extremely polite and cooperative with the police officers that night and always. They've never had a problem with this establishment. Inspector Chrysomalis can attest to that. They are also members of the community association who attend the meetings, is that correct? And they attend the community meetings. They're very supportive of their community. They contribute to things, they clean up the area, and they're active participants in this, in the community association. So given all those facts, members of the board, I'd ask you to impose a modest fine, given all the mitigating factors. And Mr. Chrysomelos, you've known these people for a long time, is that correct? If I can call them.
I don't, Agent Chrysomelos, Baltimore City Liquor Board, I don't know them personally. I know the establishment. I've seen this gentleman in there before. Yeah, they are cooperative. I know that it's a very high crime corner, and I know they've given footage plenty of times to the police for crimes that have occurred around the establishment.
Okay. Commissioner?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, the testimony received, the admission of a violation on April 23rd, I would find a violation of Alcohol Beverage Rule 4.01 small a on April 23, 2019. Record shows a sale earlier this year, or maybe at the end of last year, that was found guilty in February. And other violations since they've had, well, one other violation since they've had the license.
No, I think it was a minor, I think it was a trader's license violation.
Tampering with alcoholic beverage container.
Yeah, it was a.
So, and then there was a protest. So, in light of the mitigating circumstances, I would impose a $1,000 fine, and I'd give them 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Alcoholic Beverage Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on April 23rd, 2019, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine with 30 days to pay for the same reasons.
I find a violation of alcoholic beverage 4.01A on April 23rd, 2019, and would concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department Report, Detective LeBron. Licensee Exhibit 1, alcohol burning certification.
Calling the next case, Sung Koo Kang, Mi Sha Park, and Yuen Im Yang, Gloff Incorporated, trading as Oxford Tavern, 1741 West North Avenue. It's a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Violation of Alcoholic Beverages Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on April 23rd, 2019.
Good afternoon, Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of licensees.
Good afternoon. Please raise your right hands.
You swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Admission or denial?
Admission.
And so what happened on April 23?
Well, on that date, Rico Harris, who is standing to my right, the bartender in question, he did make the sale. He is pretty disgusted with himself. He understands that he's put Mr. Kang's business in jeopardy. He's learned the simple lesson that he told me out in the hall earlier: I card everybody now. And that's all there is to it. He cards everybody.
Is he alcohol certified?
He is. In fact, Mr. Kang had him alcohol certified recently, a few weeks ago. And I'd like to present that and some other evidence at this time. It's my understanding, Detective Greenhill, he was polite and cooperative.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, in that packet, you'll see Mr. Harris's alcohol certification on the front. You'll also see 3 letters from the Liquor Board for 2018, one dated March 1st, 2018, one dated September 28th, 2018, and a letter dated December 11th, 18, showing that he had successfully passed the compliance checks on those dates. Mr. Kang is and continues to be vice president of the Asian American Licensed Beverage Association here in Baltimore City. There's also a couple of citations from then Council President Jack Young and former Mayor Catherine Pugh on the end of that evidence packet. So I'd move, Ms. Russell, that be admitted into evidence.
All be received.
Thank you. And then finally, and this is what's so tough, is that he's a great neighbor. I have checks here. He has given, just in the last year, from May of 18 to 19, $1,200 to Matthew A. Henson Elementary School, $600 to the Matthew Henson Community Association, $600 to the Matthew Henson DC. What is that, King? Development Corporation, Development Company. He's given hundreds of dollars to the Bethesda Baptist Church, the Greater Bethesda Baptist Church, which is in the neighborhood. And he just gave, he gave last July $1,000 to the BPD, to the Western District National Night Out for the Police Community Relations Council. So he's investing in his community, and that's why you don't have neighbors here clamoring to shut him down. Clearly, he's had some slip-ups, and it's embarrassing for him, like I say, as an officer in the Beverage Association. He will not have a problem with Mr. Harris ever asking for ID again. He's terribly contrite, Mr. Kang is, and he understands that there are consequences. But I would ask, in light of the good works that he does in the neighborhood, that you consider a fine only in this matter.
Commissioner?
Questions?
Okay, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, the admission by counsel and the licensee, as well as testimony received, I find a violation of Alcohol Beverage Rule 4.01 small a on April 23, 2019. I do consider the mitigating circumstances, but also the record, which shows a sale to minor that was found in May of this year, as well as one from 2015.
May have last year.
But yes, I stand corrected. May have last year, so about a year ago. So I would impose a $1,000 fine, and I would give them 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a sales to minors on April 23rd, 2019, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine, 30 days to pay.
I find violation of Alcoholic Beverage Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on April 23rd. I would concur with the imposition of the
Thank you all. Have a great day.
I'd like to call the exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit Number 1, Police Department Report. Licensees Exhibit Number 1, Alcohol Awareness Certification for Mr. Harris. Licensee Exhibit 2, letter from Board of Liquor License Commissioners for not serving, dated March 1st, 2018, September 28th, 18, and December 11th, 2018. Exhibit Number 3, Presidential and Mayoral Citation. Calling the next case, Po Chang, Joe Chang, Chow Hai Chang, Chanko Group LLC, trading as Zen West Roadside Cantina, 5914 through 16 York Road. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, a violation of Alcoholic Beverages Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on April 23rd, 2019.
All those involved, please raise your right hands.
You swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
What is your name, sir?
Po Chang.
Mr. Chang, you're charged with a sale to minor on April 23. Do you admit or deny it?
I admit.
Okay. And is this Ms. Johnson?
Yes,
to-
Stephanie Johnson.
And you were the one who made the sale?
Yes.
Did you want to tell us anything about it, or is Mr. Chang?
I don't mind at all, yeah. I just want to start off by saying that I'm 23 years old. I just graduated from Towson University. I've been working in a restaurant for over 8 years. I've never, ever had any type of violation in this matter. The night Loyola University college students frequent our bar, and that night, I mean, I would say over 50 of them kind of just came in at once. There was no bouncer at the door. And he came on, I mean, probably 10 minutes after this whole thing happened. And when the cadets walked in, it looked as if it was a normal couple, as I'm IDing, like students who are dressed, you know, as if they're going out, and these people looked like they had just come sat at the bar and they were a normal couple. To me, it's not an excuse. I'm not saying it is, but just in how busy I was, it was just a huge mistake, and in a normal setting, I wouldn't have made it.
Are you alcohol certified?
Yes.
And you say you've been doing this for 8 years?
I've been working in a restaurant since I was 15.
Okay. And do you now have some carding thing in place?
Yeah, I always have been carding. That was just, you know, I was so busy. I card every single person now. There won't be a mistake made again.
Seems if you're serving a lot of college students, you'd need to be carding.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that I was busy worrying about them and making sure I was carding them because there was no bouncer at the door, and what looked like a normal over 21 aged couple had walked in, and I wanted to just get them their drinks and worry about the people who I thought were underage.
Okay. And was she cooperative?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioners?
No questions.
Well, No questions. So I just want to ask you about your record. So you've had the license since 2006?
Yes,
And this would be your fourth sale to minor violation, is that correct?
that's correct.
I assume Ms. Johnson was not working for you on the prior ones?
No.
Okay. And are you still working there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right, well, on the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, testimony received, and the admission, I would find a violation of Alcohol Beverage Rule 4.01 small a on April 23, 2019. I appreciate your candor with us and that what the circumstances were and why you might have made a mistake. The other problem is that 4 violations is serious. So I'd impose a $2,500 fine, and I'd give you 30 days to pay it.
I too find a violation of alcoholic beverage rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on April 23rd, 2019. Like the chairman said, I appreciate your candor here today. However, I agree that 4 violations is a lot. So 25, I concur with the imposition of a $2,500 fine and 30 days to pay.
I find a violation of alcoholic beverage rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on April 23rd, 2019, and would concur with the imposition of a $2,500 fine.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
I call zips for the record. Board of Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill.
Mr. Ackert, does that conclude our docket?
That concludes our afternoon docket. The board is in recess until June 13th, 2019 at 11 a.m.
May Larry be excused next week?
We won't be here next week.
Unless he doesn't want to be, sir.
Okay, thank you.